Well, I'm from Jamaica, you know. I was born in the parish of Manchester. And I was brought up by my grandmother. Because my parents come to England early. My dad come to England, and I was born in 57. He could have been here in 58 because I never knew him. And my mother come after my father. You know, she stayed in Kingston. I reckon she might have come here about, I'm guessing now, say about 63. So, for all that time I grew up with my parents, not with my parents, with my gran, you know. So I have a different upbringing from most kids in Jamaica. Well, not most kids, because a lot of kids grew up with the grandparents. But I was on my own with my gran, so I never had a lot of male influence, you know. So I could do a lot more things, or get away with a lot more things that other kids couldn't get away with in the 60s. Because you get punished severely at home and at school. You know what I mean? So when I start school, 7-year-old, I was a very rebellious kid in school. You know what I mean? When I say rebellious, I mean when I get smacked, I wouldn't go to school for a while. So I was never a regular visitor in school, you know what I mean? I like hopping buses and shooting birds and playing marbles and, you know what I mean? Doing a lot of what they would call in England skiving from school. Yeah? Now I was born in Manchester. When I was about 7.5, we moved to Kingston. And I carry on the same kind of procedure in Kingston, not going to school regular. You know what I mean? And staying out late and being away from home sometime for 2 months. Not going home, you know what I mean? And then from 12 to 15, my job was just to look after my gran. So I never went to any school at all. No school. Which was a blessing in disguise. I never knew it at the time, but it was actually a blessing. And I come to England, my parents sent for me at 15. Arrived in England at 15. Went to school for a year. This is in a place called Halifax in Yorkshire, you know. Went to school for a year. Leave school. Got a job. I wanted to be a motor mechanic. Because when I was small in Jamaica and I see people in dirty clothes, and I say, yeah, I would like to be like that as a man, you know. I wanted to be a motor mechanic. And I did get a job as a motor mechanic. But you had to go to college. And I cannot read drawings. You know, plans. So I had to knock that. I got another one as a apprentice welder, but the same problem come up. So I haven't actually got any skills as such in the practical sense. I can just do menial things, you know what I mean? I haven't got any practical skill. I don't drive, I don't build anything, I can't sing. So I have no talent in that department. Anyway, carrying on with the story. I had to leave home at, I think it was 17.5 because of a I wouldn't call it a misunderstanding. There was a schoolyard close by. I used to go after work and just kick a ball around, you know, with 2 other white guys that I know. And my dad tell me not to go in that school because if any windows get broken, he doesn't want any police coming to his house. Anyway, you know, you have nothing to do, so we went over there, and one day and I seen him on the bus saying, home. And when I get home, he said, you had to leave. Well, at that time in England, I didn't even know another black man, seriously, apart from my 2 brothers, you know what I mean? Because Mixon then in Yorkshire is an insulated place. You know what I mean, in the 70s. So anyway, he says to me that 2 bulls cannot live in 1 pen. It's an old Jamaican saying that, you know. So he said to me, if I never want him to beat me, I would have to leave. So I said, Well, when I was in Jamaica, I get a lot of licks of people who was my parents, and I had it in mind that when I come to my parents, my beating would be over, you know what I mean? So I decided that no, I wasn't going to take any licks. So I just put my clothes in some bags and leave the house. I never knew anywhere apart from Halifax town centre. So I went down there, I think it was about 9 o'clock at night. Walk around till about 1 o'clock. Then I thought to myself I had to get off the street in case the police see me, you know what I mean? So anyway, I went to a set of toilet. The first one, lucky thing for me, there was 2 sets of toilet in Halifax. Because the first toilet that I went to was already filled up. Every cubicle that I look under, the 2 pair of legs. Was a bit of a comfort that to know that I was the only one roughing it. Anyway, I slept over there at the toilet, and I was doing that and sleeping in the park for about a week before I figure out where I could find digs. And then eventually I find digs, and you know what I mean? You find a girlfriend, and you know, eventually I end up where I had my own flat. Met my first girlfriend, I had my first son, and that kind of life. Then you just live in the life that I would call when you was born. You was born innocent. Well, I was anyway. I know all human beings was. But what was put into us is what others want us to learn. So by the time I reach 19 now, I more or less figure that when I was growing up in Jamaica, every man had 4 or 5 women. So when I was young in Jamaica seeing this, I too had it in mind that when I reach an adult, I should have 4 or 5 women. See what I mean? So at that stage of my life, I was never faithful to any woman. You know what I mean? The women might have been faithful. I was the one misbehaving because I wasn't being honest to no woman. So that means if I had a woman here, I would still go out and see another woman. And when I come back and she say, where have you been? I'll say, I've been with my friends, innit? You know what I mean? And another thing that I was into was drinking. Not heavy drinking, because I wouldn't drink during the day. I go to the pub and I go, not the pub, a shop and buy a tin of beer and drink it in the day. But weekend, you know, or night time, when you're out with your friends who drink. But I never liked drinking. You know what I mean? I never did. But I never tell any of my friends that I never liked drinking either. So I just carry on drinking, end up into gambling. So that's what I was doing right up until I was 27. 27 is when I changed. But I could even reverse back to tell you a few more stories about my childhood in Jamaica. Because as a child I was very fascinated by 2 things. I was fascinated by: death and religion. Anyone who died anywhere within my radius, I would go to the funeral. And if possible, have a look at the body as well. Even though them things were scary at that time, because as a kid you would dream about the dead body for a while. But I was still fascinated, because I used to think to myself, how am I going to breathe? You know, when they bury me up on the ground, when I think about my death. And up until 7 years old, I couldn't sleep in the dark. I was claustrophobic in the... You know? And my other fascination was religion. I used to visit, because Jamaica is a place where, well, I don't know if it's true, but they said it, that it's got more churches per square mile than anywhere else on the planet. Because everywhere you look is a church, or a Pocomini, or something. Jamaica is just like that. Just one big superstitious island, or somebody working what we call hobby, you know what I mean? England, they would call it witchcraft, you know, those kind of things. So I grew up in that kind of an atmosphere. So I like visiting different churches, watching people speaking in tongues, ducking under. They have different form of worship. You know what I mean? So I visit all these different churches. It so happens that my head teacher, the school that I went to, He wasn't only the head teacher. On Sunday, he was the head preacher. He was the pastor, you know, put on him long gown and telling you about what God did and what God says. Monday, he was in school. And if you're 5 minutes late, he would practically, you know, want to savage you with his strap, beat you to death. Friday, he was at the rum bar, drinking rum. And then, like I say, Sunday, this is him now up on the pulpit, preaching about God. But even at 7-year-old, 7.5, I knew that what they were saying wasn't right. I never knew what was right myself. You know what I mean? But I never believed them. They had a big occasion in my life in Jamaica at that time, happened in 1966, when Selassie come to Jamaica. Because we had other people in Jamaica called the Rasta men, you know. When we was kids, they used to say Rasta men was black heart men. You don't have to be scared of those type of people, you know what I mean? No. You have all type of Rasta. Some Rasta who believe Selassie is God. Some Rasta who believe that Selassie is not God. But what I like about Rasta, from what I can understand now, is the fact that it's not a thing that you join. See what I mean? So, because it's not a thing that you join. Like say, if you become a Muslim, you have to join and say whatever you have to say, or a Christian, you join. As far as I know, any other denomination that you say you join, you would have to say some words, and they have already got a creed or a formula that you follow. But in Rasta, there is no such thing. Because, like when I decided that it's time for me to be a Rasta, I never went and seen no man and announced this matter to them. You know what I mean? Anyway, reversing back to Jamaica in 66, I was 9-year-old. Yeah, make note of that, 9. I have an acquaintance with the number 9. So I was 9 when he visited Jamaica. And like everybody else at the time, I went along to see him. You know, he was coming close to where I was living at the time, you know. So I went and see him at a place called the Government House. Anyway, while I was waiting at Government House, I heard that his plane had landed. So at that time, when I hear that as a 9-year-old, I decided that no, this is not God. Because I was expecting Jah to step out the sky, even as a 9-year-old. So I rejected that idea that Selassie was God. Never rejected Rasta, I just rejected that idea. So I would more or less says, growing up from then, after finishing looking at these religions, I never believed any of them. So I was not in the camp of the believer. I was now in the camp of the unbeliever, or doubtful Thomas. So when I come to England and leave home and all that, and I was living the life of doubtful Thomas, drinking, gambling, womanizing. If anybody asks me about God, because you would occasionally run into people who talk about God like Mormons or Seventh Day, you know, those people on the street. I would just say to them, well, who created God? Because at that time I had decided for myself that until this God that they are talking about step out of the sky, I ain't going to believe nothing that they're telling me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So anyway, I'm living my life like this and just going on. 27, when I reach 27, make note of that one again, because that is 3 9s. When I reach 27, I wake up one morning and something just, I don't know if you explain this, but you don't know, it's like a vice, but you don't know where it's coming from. But the vice is saying, why are you drinking when you know you don't like drinking? Well, to be truthful, when I was drinking, I know I never like drink. I don't like beer. The only beer that I could honestly say that I like is lager and lime. But I don't like beer. You know, but all my friends was drinking and everybody was drinking, so you just blend in and drink along with everybody as well. You know what I mean? But on this particular morning, something was saying to me, because I thought I was the only one who knew that I don't like drinking. Because I never tell my friends that I don't like drinking. I just knew it myself. But now it's as if something was saying, well, why are you doing it when you know you don't like doing it? That was literally what. And I says to myself, it's true. I'm going to stop drinking. And I did. No, when I did that, I wasn't looking for anything. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just following, just being honest then, if you want to call it that way. And in the following couple of weeks, the same way I said, why are you gambling? When you lose your money, you don't like it. But you pretend as if you don't care when you're in the bookie. You're a hypocrite. So I say, yeah, it's true, I'm a hypocrite. I'm going to stop gambling. I go to the bookie, put £20 and win. It was a 7 to 2. So that means if you put 20, you win 70 and you get your 20 back. So I get back £90 and I decide to finish gambling. You know what I mean? And in the last one was womanizing. This is why most men cannot break through the veil, or even women for that matter, because of the power of the sexual center within the being. Now, what the vice was showing me that, listen, when you have a girl here and you go around the corner and you see another girl and you come back here, you have to lie. That lying is not compatible with knowing the truth. You see what I mean? So you will enjoy the pleasure of the sexual adventure, but you will not grow spiritually because you're lying. And no liar can know what is right and correct. You see me? So I had to give up that activity. Look at making a sacrifice. So from I was 27, I don't live with anyone and cheat or lie or try and deceive or go and chat up an ex-woman. You know what I mean? We just kind of finish those things. Now, having stopped all those things now, I find myself on the street trying to tell people that, you know, these things was wrong. And they was now saying that I had gone mad. You see what I mean? They even sent me for my parents. This is one of the first time when my parents come to this place here, Oldham, because they got message that I had gone off my rockers. So they saying, you know. So my mother come. Well, when they come down here, I wasn't here. I was somewhere else speaking. Because them time I was very busy on the street. I don't know if I went Bolton or someplace on some mad mission. And when I come back, I hear that, oh, your parents was here. They hear that you're gone mad. So I went and see my parents. It so happened that when I walked into the house, there was a priest there. So I says to her, you know, what's this devil man doing here? Not for him to hear, you know. So that make it even worse. No, she didn't come off miracles because at that time she was a church lady, you know what I mean? So anyway, I tried to settle and say, listen, I am not off maracas, you know. I'm not walking down the street without any clothes on. I haven't attacked anyone. You know, I'm saying a few things people don't understand. You know what I mean? And blah, blah. I even get a paper and try to do a few crossroads for her to show her that my mind is still working. But she wasn't settled still. She still think I was not right. So here you have a situation where this is my mother. Eh? She ain't believing what I'm telling her, that I am not mad. But she's taking the words of other people that yes, I have gone off my rocker. So when she gave birth to me, the name that she gave me is Paul. So maybe in her mind, or she have in her mind that Paul should behave a certain way. But don't forget, I am not my name. No human being is their name. So even all those people who are holding on to the name of Jesus, you're holding on to an illusion, because a name is not a spirit. Anyway, just come back to my story. Eventually, I had to go to the doctor with my mother. I went with her, not for my sake, but for hers. So when we went to the doctor and I spoke to him, obviously the doctor knows nothing's wrong with me, innit? So he spoke to her and said, listen, there's nothing wrong with him. Nothing physically wrong with him, and he ain't deluded. So then she was satisfied. Not with what I'm telling her, but with what the doctor said. Yeah. Anyway, move on this story now. I don't know how long this went on, but let's say this went on for about, let's use the image of let's use the image of the birth sequence. Let's say I was at it for 9 months, because I wasn't counting, or 10 months. But after 9 or 10 months, imagine that you was in a dark place. You could not see where you was going. Everything was pitch black. And in that darkness, something grabbed hold of you, or grab hold of your hand. Now, because you can't see what it is, you could easily shake it off. But I never shake it off. When I say I never shake it off, I stop drinking, stop gambling, stop womanizing, and listen. So it's like something is now leading me and I'm following. And at the same time, I'm trying to figure out what it is. But from what it's learning me, I know that it's smart. If you know what I mean. So even though others are saying, oh, he's gone off his rockers, he's gone mad, this ain't phasing me, you know what I mean? Because I'm seeing some super duper movements. Anyway, I went along. After about 9 months, whoops, it revealed itself. These humans would call it a vision. So a vision now is not something of a physical nature. So what I'm about to tell you, if all human beings are like this, they don't know it, but I know that they are like this. And if a doctor should cut your head and look for it, he ain't going to find it either. You know what I mean? So the vision is this now. In the head, there is 2 small forms of the human body. That means the shape like little human beings, like that. The first one, if the person is not blind, and they have eyes to see, you know, normal like me, you can see through your eyes, is sitting looking through the eyes.
That's the first one.
That is the first one. It's like a dark shadow one. Now, it's like me looking at you. You cannot see me really. You see my eyes, but you don't see me. Because I could be planning to kill you and doing all manner of evil to you. Yet you wouldn't notice. You would see a smiling face. Because we are not visible beings. I'll explain more later. Anyway, that's the first one. The second one is sitting behind him. You see what I mean? Now, this one who is looking through the eyes is not aware of the one behind him. Not necessarily. But this one beams a light across and lights him up completely. And he knows everything that he's doing. Now, I'm putting it to human beings that this one that I'm telling you about is the supreme one. The supreme master. Now, it doesn't matter who the master was or who the being was. As long as you have set foot upon this earth and walk on 2 legs, or you come out of your mother, yeah, and you know any truth at all on this planet, it could have only been taught to you by this one. Now, I notice they call this one conscience. Yeah, you can call this one conscience. Because conscience is a thing that dwells in all human beings. Be the human being black, white, blue, female, male, live in forest and city, belong to Rasta, Islam, Hinduism, any religion that you want to belong to. I am telling you that conscience watch it all from within and know it all the secrets of man. So that is my master. That is how I come to learn what I learn. Because I have no human teacher. Like I tell you, in England they would call me thick. Thick mean when you are useless, practically. No, I am a dense man in that way, and I would agree with that. I don't drive. I can't do nothing practically for real. And for sure, I haven't got any educational skill. I haven't been to Oxford or Cambridge, see it? Or any one of these great learning institutions. But I must say though, I am a lunatical student of conscience. Because I notice in my life I never like going to school. But going to the school of conscience, trust me, I am restless. So, if any human being want to know how I come to know what I'm spitting out in 2012, just ask your own self when you hear these words and you will know. Because these, just like my website says, are the words of conscience. You see what I mean? So, I am no ordinary soldier. No. I am actually a soldier from the 9th dimension of teachings. Yeah? Now, another thing that I would like for us to reveal right here now is why we use the name Rastafari. I wouldn't say we. I shouldn't say we. I should say why I use the name Rastafari. Because Rastafari is just another name of the creative force, or the one, or the I am, or the Allah, or the Jah. Whatever name you want to call that one, because whatever name you call that one won't be that one anyway. Just like how my name is not me, it's just an indicator. So these names are indicators. The name Rastafari is another indicator of that terrible and dreadful one. But because we are living in the days, just like we recording now, of digital, where things are made much clearer, like on television now, pictures are more clearer. So the name Rastafari come to make the one more clearer, so that all can understand the name Rastafari and what it signifies. So I'm going to give you an indication of what the name Rastafari signifies and the power of that name Rastafari. Now, in English you have 9 letters. Not letters, numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now some will argue about the 0. But we're not going to deal with nothing here. We're going to deal with what is manifested. So we're going to start with the 1. Now the 1 is the first. Before the 1 there was 0. Yeah, and the 1 now is acting as a positive. The reason why we say the 1 is positive is because it doesn't separate and divide itself. And we are living in a dimension of positive and negative. And this force runs through everything. Whether it's a Bible, book, everything, positive and negative. So we have the first, which is the 1. Then we have the number 2. The number 2 is acting as a negative because it separates and divides itself. That's why we use it. I never said it was evil, I said it was negative. Then we have the number 3, which is behaving like the 1. So it's a positive number. Then we have the number 4, which is behaving like the 2, so it's a negative number. Then we have the number 5, which is behaving like the 3 and the 1, so it's a positive number. Then we have the number 6, which is following 4 and 2, so that's a negative number. Then we have the 7, which follows 5, 3 and 1, so that's a positive. Then we have the 8, who's following 6, 4 and 2, so that's a negative, the highest form of negativity. Then we have the number 9, which is I and I, Rastafari. Well, I am not Rastafari, I am a Rasta, follower of Rastafari. But the number 9 is where the Rastaman is at. I and I, Rastaman, in this time. Now, when you reach 9, if you should count from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. When you reach 9, where you think you're going to go? You can't go anywhere. For you to go anywhere, you must bring back the 1. So, whenever you see the number 9, which is the Rastaman in this time, it is the signal that the 1 is not far behind. Now, when you look at the name Rastafari, it ends, the I is the 1. That 1 stands for the one universe, because the universe is 1. I know most of these idiotic beings won't know this, but it is 1 anyway, 1 universe. It also stands for the 1 planet Earth. This Earth is 1. It is not the different countries that they have get you to be patriotic about and things. If you go to the moon in your imagination and look back at the Earth, you won't see England, you won't see Africa, neither will you see China. You don't see 1 round globe, 1 planet Earth. So you sink into your thick head that this is 1 Earth. Yeah? Now, on top of the planet Earth, we have a lot of people crawling about that we call human beings. And we find them in many different colors. Yeah? But just imagine if you take water, water, simple water, yeah? And you throw it into 4 different tins. A black tin, white tin, yellow tin, and green tin. And seal it up. You would not know it was water inside, would you? Not until you go and taste them. So this is what the terrible and dreadful one Rastafari has done to human beings. He's put the same spirit in you. Now, any one of you who is listening to this, if you is a white man, do you know what color your mind is? If you are black, do you know? If you are Chinese, do you know? If you are Indian, whatever you want to call yourself, do you know what color your mind is? The mind has no color. The spirit have no color. So from that you establish that we have 1 race of people living on this planet, human beings. Yeah? Now, within those human beings, we have the 1 spirit that watch them all, Rastafari. That is why a man cannot hide from himself. You see, so that one is my teacher. So the human being that is going to out-reason me will have to be able to out-reason himself. Because my understanding cometh not from the mind, but from beyond the regions of the mind. Now, the explanation for that is this. I'll show you on the outside first. When you look outside, in the sky you see the sun. It is the giver of light. And then you have the moon. Now, notice that the sun does burn a constant light. The moon, on the other hand, is an individual that can be either positive or negative. Because sometimes it does shine light. But when it does, it's a reflection. As according to the outside scientists, it is a reflection of sunlight. They can confirm this if that is so. Which, yeah, I go along, I believe the moon does reflect sunlight. Now, when we move that within, we are now confronted with the mind and the spirit. Now, the mind can either be positive or negative. That is the nature of the mind, just like how the moon is. Now, depending on the choice that the individual makes. Now, let's just say for argument's sake, the individual choose to be positive. Yeah? Then that individual now would clean the mind up. The mind will now be ready to receive the light. It just will, for your sake, I will call it conscience. But from I like to say, the mind will now be ready to receive the light of the terrible and dreadful one, Rastafari himself. Now, I even hear some beings are saying that, oh, there might be some aliens somewhere in the universe, which there might be countless billions of beings. You know what I mean? And some of them might be more advanced than us in their knowledge. Yeah. But you cannot be advanced in wisdom. You see what I mean? You cannot be anywhere in this universe and be wiser than the one. Because the one is here, there, and I'm not the one, you know. The one is here, there, and everywhere. I would like anyone who's listening to this to get one thing straight. I am just doing one simple thing. When the sun is shining, if you have a mirror that is dirty and you clean the mirror and get it clean and you hold it up against the light, it will reflect the light perfectly. Now, if anyone was passing or coming along and see that happening and foolishly believe to themselves that the mirror was the source of the light, they will be making a grave mistake. Likewise, these human beings who hear me firing, yeah, you will be making a mistake if you think that I am speaking my words. Because I am not speaking my words. I am speaking the words of my teacher, the terrible and dreadful overlord Rastafari himself. Listen, and even if there was angels in heaven or any beings from anywhere in the universe, if they gather on earth in this time and hear me speaking, you see, like how soldiers stand to attention, that's what they will do. Even if the great masters, any master who has ever set foot on this planet, return in this time, they will listen to what I say. You understand? Yeah, because we have now, like we say, reached the 9th dimension where the fiercest soldiers of God trod. None but the fiercest. When I say fiercest, you have to love what is right with all your heart and your mind and your soul and your aura. You know, so I don't know how all these things are a matter of choice. You know what I mean? Anyone can choose to be anything in it. Just like how you choose to love gold and diamond and money and thing. You can have some people who choose to love honesty, innocency, truthfulness, integrity. Even though you don't immediately see the benefit of that. Because when you love money, you can see the money in it. You have your nice house, and your nice car, and your nice this. But if you love humbleness, you would have realized that, alright then. Did you know that all humans are full of shit? Excuse the language. I know you humans don't like to be reminded of such matters, but it's a fact that all humans, don't get me wrong now, because shit is not prejudice, so therefore shit full up everyone, black, white, ladies, gentlemen, You know, some people, they dressed in fine clothes and they got fine properties. Some of them own quarter of the earth. See? And them houses, I don't know how much room them have in it. No fun, some swimming pool and private jet and all kind of something. But they are still full of shit. Yeah. They don't know this. Have you ever heard of the black box? The black box is a contraption that is fitted to an aeroplane so that if it crashes, the humans can retrieve the data so that they can know exactly what happened when the aeroplane crashed. Well, every human is going to crash like an aeroplane, you know, represented by the great master death. Yeah, because it is death who control this dimension. And it doesn't matter, even if you say you is God and you come out of a woman here, death a deal with you. See me? So you find that, yeah, every human is going to crash. Yeah? But when you crash now, the original black box, I don't know how to put this, man. The terrible and dreadful overlord himself put a black box in all being. It's called a memory. Yeah? It's literally like what you are doing to me now. You are videoing me so you can replay it and show it to these humans. But the original video camera was by Jah himself. And he placed it in all human beings, be you a male or a female, you see me? And what it does, like a cameraman, because some people like to do things in secret. They have secret societies and farm up themselves. Some of them are call themselves Illuminati and whole heap of thing me here on the planet here. What thing are going on in secret? Anyway, what they do not know, because trust me, if you know the master like I do, you don't know, say God is ultra smart anyway. Too smart for the mind to figure out the ingenuity of the terrible and dreadful overlord himself, Rastafari. So why did it? It placed this memory in the human beings, like a video camera, and it videos you all the days of your life, everything that you're doing. Because by this stage, now, some people is of the opinion then that, oh, when you're dead, you're dead. But when you know, you will realize that you can't die. Even those that believe that when you're dead, you're dead, they're not going to die either. Because why would God want to video them if they was going? It doesn't make no sense. Anyway, I'll show you why you can't die. Yeah, Vinkati. I'll tell the humans why they cannot die. You don't have to wait for anyone to come back after life, after death, because that's what a lot of them are saying. I don't believe in life after death. No one has come back and told me anything. But if you live the correct way, you will see it. You don't see that life carry on because you live in evil and vile. When I say evil and vile, it's drinking, gambling, womanizing. So, a mind like that have no time to perceive or look into the mysteries of life. It hasn't got the time, it's too lazy. Well, anyway, it's a simple matter. Now, remember I tell you that we are physical and non-physical. We are like the world, the breath, the most important thing in life. Without you doing that, you finish. You could go without food for a while, water, because those are visible things. The invisible, that's what keeps the spirit alive in us. That is the most important thing. So from that we can work out physical, non-physical. So let's say from you reach about 18, 19 and you know yourself as who you are, you will never change. When you reach 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, you will still feel as young as 19. But your body won't, because the body is different. It is living in what we call time. It's matter. Anything that is dwelling in time is subject to change. Anything that is subject to change must die. So eventually the body is going to pass away. But the spirit is a constant. It is not operating under the same law as the body. So therefore, it cannot die.
Not in the same dimension?
No, it's not in the same dimension. You could put it that way, Mr. Mario. Not in the same dimension. Hence the fact why Jah has put the black box in the human being. Because if you think that you're going to if you think that you're going to live on this planet, do what you want, commit what you want, commit all manner of crimes and get away with it. Don't worry, the people that you kill, they're not dead. Because what God created, you cannot destroy. But if you think that you are going to, and hear this as well, I want to make this absolutely clear. God is not going to punish no one. And the reason why God is not going to punish anyone is because God is love. Can you imagine love doing anything evil? It's fucking crazy. Yeah. No, I don't envision God punishing anyone. The punishment is you do it yourself. It's a simple thing like what Jesus said. You reap what you sow. You know, whatever you desire, you know, it's like this is the land of desire, earth. So our desires cannot come through here. As spiritual beings, we have arrived in the land of desire on the planet earth. And here you can choose what it is that you desire. So many people are here to choose. And what they choose is exactly what they're going to get. Because that's what they're choosing it. But it won't be God who is punishing them. No, God don't do that. I would like to make a correction to the Christian Bible, where it says, many are called and few are chosen. It's not that way. It's all are called. All. Because when God have a party, he call everyone. You know, very generous guy, God. Yeah. You see, man? Call everyone, but only a few choose to go. You see? Because God cannot choose anyone. You see what I mean? You have to choose yourself. Like they have it that God sent his son here. That's against the law. Because we have the freedom to choose. So God cannot interfere with our choice.
Tell me why God cannot interfere with our choices. Why?
The reason why God cannot interfere with our choice because we have the freedom to choose. We are not robots, you know. God never created us like robots. If you imagine, say, oh, God did just want us to just do His will, then He would have just created us just to do His will. You know, but God don't want no force. You know, like have to force somebody to do something. That's not very dignifying in the sight of God.
So we have free will.
So you have complete free will. You can do this to God if you want, which many on the planet is doing this and has done that. Hey God, just hold this stick to up, you know. F off, don't want to know. And God is easy with that, no problem. Nothing is any problem to Jah, you know what I mean? Until Jah will teach you when you choose for Jah to teach you through your own desires. Then Jah have no choice but to learn you. That will bring us now to our great friend the devil. Because many people are afraid of the devil. You know what they call the devil. But if you have an enemy, you have to know your enemy. Now, I know the devil. Not that he's my enemy, he's actually my friend, but I know him still. You know what I mean? Because you have to know these things, because the universe is made up of these two great forces, positive and negative. You see what I mean? Yeah. So even after these, when you see all these great masters, Jesus, the Buddha, all them, whatever being, Abraham, whoever them want to call, all these beings have passed on and gone. But when they was around, guess who was tempting them? The devil. And guess who is tempting us now? The devil. And guess who will tell them? The devil. So you find out that the devil is a superstar. You know? A big, bad soldier. So you have to respect a soldier like that who can be in any place at any time just like God. You know, see how I mean? So you know, see Satan now, you think Satan not prejudice because he occupy the mind of the blacks and the white and the green. He's in China, in India, all over Africa, right here, you know, big bad soldier, see me? And he's been like that from time. And other beings come, live and die. Gone about them business wherever them spirit gone. And the Satan is still here. So when you're dealing with a power like that, you need to understand it. You see me? So I had to reason with the great master himself to find out certain things of how things operate and what is my rights within the operation of things. So I get to find out from the devil that, alright, hear me now. In this universe, you have positive and negative. I am negative. So I know but I deal with anything good. I advise people anything good. All my teachings is about evil, see me? If you want to know how to kill off nearly the whole earth, Rasta, and have all for yourself, I will teach you and give you a good plan, because that is your desire. But the devil himself now, when you study him to a depth now, he is just like God. He's independent and he's not really interested in any followers, because he can't partake in none of this evil. You see what I mean? He's actually just there. That's how choice come into the matter. Without the devil being there wouldn't be a choice. You just have to be good in it. So you find out that the devil never leave his position. He would sit in this chair like this, and you are over there say, Marius, why don't you go downstairs and steal the guy's sugar? But if you says, no, you're not doing it, nothing ain't going to happen. You know, say, probably say, hey, Marius, there's a man over there with some money, you know, so you could rob him. So he'll tell you these stars, but if you say you're not doing it, you know what I mean? Nothing, he ain't going to do nothing.
Won't force you.
No, he can't force you. God never put, this is how the terrible one is. He hasn't put anyone with any authority over us. No force in the universe can do us any harm. Not Satan and not the mighty death himself. You remember how I tell you how death is terrible, and I was afraid of him when I was a kid. Yeah, well, not evil, he can harm us. He's got a right on this body, but he cannot touch this. Like I explained to you, and death is not real. So there's no force in the universe who has got power over us. Not even God. You understand? Not even God has got power over us. If he wanted to, he would have created that way. So, yeah, I have power over you, but not even God has got power over us. Put that in your notebook. Not even God has got power over us. He's give us the freedom to decide at exactly what you exactly what it is you wish and you desire.
Some people can think that the devil actually exists, that it's really personal, but it's not true.
No, the devil is not a real person. No, that doesn't mean that over the years or whatever, these beings hasn't created devils. You know? But any devil that exists is the creation of man. If you think that the original, the root of what you imagine as evil is not evil, because it doesn't perform evil. You see what I mean? It just spit it out so that we can experience positive and negative, but it is actually a neutral force. Well, can you see it is what you think create this light that we are now looking in the room? This is the force of positive and negative. They are not fighting, are they? They produce a light so we can see. So we have the same energy within us then. If we balance them properly, whoops, we produce a light. And when you have a light, you can see. You know what I mean? All these processes are natural processes. You know what I mean? But let's go into more detail of what we have to do to reach this position. Because let's imagine that God, let's use the word God, was Mount Everest. And we wanted to climb Mount Everest. Now, we couldn't just set off and go to Mount Everest and climb it. We have to make preparation. Our bodies will have to be fit. So we have to do proper exercises and do that and carry the right food and all this thing. So it is the same process when one is going to know God. You can't know God unless you prepare. And when we say prepare, we mean the mind have to be prepared. So let's think of the mind as a garden. Or if you want a glass. No, everyone knows what a garden is. They leave it at a garden. No. Everyone knows that when weeds are growing in a garden and we let weeds grow all over the garden, it doesn't look nice. That's not the right way for a garden to look. But if you remove the weeds, you know what I mean? Things is better. So it's the same thing with the mind. When we're going to make preparation, we have to enter in it. Now the weeds of the mind are our own little selfishness, our own little lying, our own little cheating, our own little racial prejudice, greediness, lustfulness, all kind of manner of negativity. No. This is where honesty is the best of policy. So we need to call on the assistance of honesty to assist us to purge ourselves of all these things. Because if we don't, then we won't be preparing. You know what I mean? Because the mind have to be fit. Just like I tell people before, Usain Bolt could not run the 100 meters if the body was not fit. And it takes training to get the body fit. At first, some of that training might even be hurtful and painful, but the more you persist, the easier it becomes.
It's the same with mind.
Same with mind. You see? So the exercise is to train the mind, is to remove negativity from it. You know what I mean? Because I will tell you human beings now, if you don't like me and recognize me as your brother, you'll never enter the kingdom of God. Ever. You could live on this planet or any planet within this universe a trillion, billion years. You ain't going to enter no kingdom. So if you don't like my big, flat, black, broad nose and accept me as your brother, you see what I mean? And you mistake my carriage from me, you will forever live in darkness. No matter what you know or what people tell you, just listen to your own conscience, because these are the facts. You know what I mean? Because you remember when I was telling you the story, I never believed the believers. So I end up in the field of the unbeliever or doubting Thomas. But now I'm not in the field of doubting Thomas or even in the field of the believer. I am in the field of the knower. You see what I mean?
That's where everybody's supposed to
be. Yes, that is where everybody is supposed to end up. In the field of the knower, where you know. Where you don't believe in God, you know God. But for you to know God, you have to do the actions that are going to that are going to open up the gates of the mind then. We are more or less sealed within the mind. And we have to break through the different levels before we can. I don't know if you ever see the movie The Matrix. Have you seen that movie? Well, when Neo reached the Matrix, which is, I would take that to be like the mind, where he's reasoning with it to say, hey, how come Sergeant Brown is doing all them things? I said, no, that's Sergeant Brown's own choice. See, he choose to do that. See what I mean? Because the real devil now don't participate in evil. You know what I mean? But when he gets behind the matrix, he was in a land of light. Well, that is the land of the spirit. Because behind the mind is the spirit. Just like I was telling you, behind the eyes looking out to the world is the other one, the light that light him up completely. This is the one, the eternal one. This one are those two has been riding in all human beings.